Hi guys, my name's Holly Baxter. I'm an accredited practicing dietitian and online physique coach, and today I'm really excited because I've been wanting to do this recipe for a couple of weeks now, and I keep scrolling through my phone and I see the picture and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this recipe. So I'm just going to quickly show you what this is because it is absolutely crazy. Look at that color. So it is a Cookie Monster cheesecake. So it's got this beautiful blue, like turquoise cream cheese filling. I haven't actually tried this particular version of this cake. I've done it in a couple of other flavors. So it's a new recipe for me today. But to give you a heads up on what the macros are going to be like for this comparatively to a regular cheesecake or a style of cake like this, I've been able to halve the calories per slice. So for a typical cheesecake, like in an 8-inch round springform cheesecake tin, you're looking at around 2,200 calories or something of that nature. Just to give you an idea of what a regular cheesecake would be, that is an 8-inch round style of cake. For one slice, if you made this into 12, so that's 6 on this side, 6 on this side, you're looking at around 450 to 500 calories per slice. So today I've managed to actually get that right down. We're only looking at 270 calories today. So the macros per slice are 9 grams of protein. So it's actually quite a high protein dish because of the cream cheese and the ricotta that I'm using in this dish. It is 15 grams of fat, whereas normally for a cheesecake you'd be looking at around 30, 35, 40 even, depending on what kind of fillings they're using. And the carbohydrates is only going to be 20 grams per slice. And usually, if you think about the amount of sugars that are going into these biscuits and all that, this is only half of what would normally be, because I'm substituting everything for like a stevia powder, and then I'm using flavorings to bring out those sweet tastes. So super excited for this one. If you're doing a contest prep or you're doing some kind of dieting, this is going to be your treat food at the end of the day, but without going crazy over your macros. So I hope you're going to love this as much as I do. So there are 3 parts to this recipe. We have the base for this cheesecake, then we have the filling, and then there's actually a beautiful rich chocolate Gnash at the top. So we'll start with the base this morning. So the ingredients are, always for a base, there's going to be some kind of butter to bind it together. So we're using 80 grams of this low calorie or reduced fat butter. The second ingredient you're going to need for the base is a sweetener. I'm going to use powder. I would encourage you to use powder as well, because again, it helps fill the volume for the actual base. We're using 25 grams, which works out to be about 1 cup of stevia. We're going to be using 50 grams of coconut flour. I'm using a 50-50 of this and regular all-purpose flour. The reason for this, again, I'm just trying to reduce the overall carbohydrate content. So coconut flour is actually lower in carbs than our regular kind of flour. So 50 grams of this and 50 grams of regular all-purpose flour. You're gonna need 1 egg for your base, and we're also gonna need 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Also gonna need a couple of pinches of salt, and this will help to bring out the flavors. And also you're going to need some kind of chocolate chip. So I'm using these semi-sweet dark chocolate chips. So we're gonna have 50 grams. In order to get this perfect, we're gonna preheat the oven to 380 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius if you're in Australia. And then we're going to put all the ingredients together. So let's do it. Go. Now no one can complain that I don't really use the amounts that I use. So I'm just going to microwave that in batches, so 30 seconds at a time, bringing it out and stirring it. Make sure that all that butter has completely melted through. When you're impatient and you're a cook. So I'm just going to weigh out 50 grams of all-purpose flour. Now this isn't the gluten-free version. Stirring that. 50 grams of the coconut flour as well. That in as well. Finally, I'm going to take the egg. This is for the base. So once that has mixed through, we're going to add the semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now that is one heck of a base. Spray of the springform tin. Bring that in. So don't be surprised when you first put this mixture into your cheesecake tin that it looks like it won't fill out, but you have to be patient when you cook. I am really not a patient person. But yeah, you just keep kneading it and flattening it out. It's coming together. So I'm gonna take this and pop it into the oven, and we're gonna bake that for about 15 minutes and just till it starts to brown lightly on the surface. So my camera guy, Kavira, actually just made a really good point. Just the base alone could be a giant cookie, so keep that in mind. For the filling, we're gonna need some third fat cream cheese. So a regular cheesecake would obviously use normal full cream, full fat cheese. So this is much, much, much better when we look at the macronutrient profile. So much lower in fat, and yes, it is worth the swap. And it is worth the extra $1.50 you're gonna pay for it because it says it's low fat. But anyhow, 200 grams of this. We're gonna need 200 grams of the no fat ricotta cheese as well. You could also use the part skim ricotta cheese. It will just give it a more creamier or a richer texture, but obviously the fat content goes up when you do that. So 200 grams of each. To keep it sweet, we're gonna add in another 25 grams of powdered stevia or sweetener, which is about 1 cup. And then we're also going to be using some kind of Oreo biscuit or any chocolate biscuit for that matter, depending on what you prefer. But obviously Cookie Monster, I kind of wanted to go with the cookie theme. So 150 grams of cookies. Again, because we're substituting out a lot of the full fat cream cheese, which gives the cheesecake helps it to set. We're going to need something that facilitates that. So you guys are familiar with my cooking channel. We're gonna add some gelatine. So 2 sachets of gelatine, so that's about 25 grams. We're also gonna be using 150 mils or 3 serves of egg stirs, or you could use 3 whole eggs. Again, that's gonna add more fat to your recipe, but I find that this does okay. So 3 servings of egg stirs. We have 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence going into the filling. We also have 2 pinches of salt, again, bringing out that flavor. And the magic ingredient is this cool neon blue food coloring. And you can use whatever color you like, to be honest, but Cookie Monster is kind of blue, so I found this particular brand, McCormick's, which has like neon coloring, so we're gonna use that today. We're gonna weigh out 150 grams of Oreo style biscuits. So we're gonna take 200 grams of this third fat cream cheese. And same for the ricotta cheese, so the no fat ricotta. A couple of shakes of salt, teaspoon of vanilla essence. So I'm just going to the gelatine, do one at a time just to make sure it mixes properly. Another 1 cup of the stevia or powdered sweetener of your choice, 25 grams. I'm just gonna pour in the gelatine. Add in 1 serving of the egg stirs at a time and blend between each serving. I'm gonna take some of this food dye. Ooh, this is where the magic happens. I'm gonna start with 5 drops and just see what we have. Lastly, we're gonna put in the Oreo biscuits. So it's about 1 row is 150 grams. I'm gonna do half at a time just to give this poor little blender a break. How does it lived a good life? The second lot that I'm going to put in, I'm going to blend it for a lot less time because I want to keep that crunchy texture. So literally 5 seconds. Less than. Let's make that 2. I'm gonna put that into the oven, 380, bake time. The final layer that we're going to do today is the chocolate ganache. Now, you can make more of this if you would like to cover the entire cheesecake. Today, I'm just gonna be covering the top layer. So, in order to do this, we're gonna take 100 grams of the third fat cream cheese. We're gonna use 50 grams of semi-sweet dark chocolate chips. We're gonna use half a teaspoon of vanilla essence. We're also gonna use half a cup of stevia, 12 grams of gelatine, and we're going to use 2 heaped tablespoons of cocoa powder. I just put 50 grams of semi-sweet dark chocolate chips here, and we're gonna melt those. So I'm going to take the chocolate chips and just put those into the microwave for about 30 seconds, and I'm gonna take it out and stir it. I guess 100 grams, right? Oh, I was so close, 90. And then we're gonna pour in the chocolate. That half teaspoon I was telling you about. 2 heaped tablespoons powdered stevia. Oh, forgot to say it. So I'm just going to take that out. It's definitely ready because the top is starting to crack. Allow that to cool for about 15 minutes. You can put it into the refrigerator or the freezer if you want to speed up that process. I'm going to do that because I don't have time. And then I'm going to use the icing to layer the top. You want to be delicate with this because it's actually a cheesecake. It's not like a set cake. So I'm going to put that back over the sides just to make it easy for transporting. Keep in mind, this will actually set. So right now the chocolate icing is quite hot. Or it's warm, but because of the chocolate pieces, think about those at room temperature, they're solid. So when this cools down, the icing will actually set. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this recipe, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. This recipe is actually going to be in my brand new contest prep ebook for recipes and cooking. So keep an eye out as that will be coming out very soon, hopefully in early March. And if you haven't got my current ebook, go and check that out. You can find that on my website, which is www.hbnutrition.com.au. Thanks guys, have an awesome day.